Here, that the issue of the diversion road had been a long time coming. I disagree. My memory does not fail me. I am 82 years old, but I have not become Kabaw yet. I am not senile. The first thing that the diversion road was talked about was when the vestry and the senior warden at the time was maintained, sometime in 2013. If I am, well, there I can be forgetful about dates. But King Vincent and I was the senior warden, and the vestry met, and the bishop was there. And our topic, that's why they called me as a St. Mary's old-timer to talk about delineation of the property. Pagila, you were the secretary of the vestry at the time. And they asked me, how did this delineation, I am sorry, Ms. Facilitator, but I'm so much patalastas, but it leads to the history of the vestry. And the vestry asked me, how did this delineation come about? And I said, Father Belingon, who was then our rector, decided that for purposes of developing this vast land, certain sections should be under the jurisdiction of the school for IGP, for whatever IGP, income generating. The hospital will have that area. But I made an emphasis, even if these are delineated schools and churches, hospital property, they still belong to one. And no development, no nothing can be done without asking permission from the vestry. So when I was in St. Mary's School, we would cut down trees because we needed the trees. We were old and we needed trees for our shop. But we had to ask permission yet from the vestry. That is the story of the delineation. And then somehow, they were talking about the old grounds and the school, how it was done, and the fireplace in the hospital where to put up the fire department. And then somehow the road came about, that road. And this is what was presented to us in the meeting. But because of the squatting, that was the number one presented reason for that road. The squatting purposes, which we want squatting encroachment into land. That is how that came about. I did not know that the bishop with the vestry already came into a consensus. The vestry was sold into the idea of building a road in there to prevent further encroachment. And so, I did not know the bishop gave his blessing, and so I said, vestry. He said, yes, the bishop can still veto your action. And the bishop smiled and said, I am sorry, I gave already my blessing. Anyway, after that one, 5 of us went to have a consultation with the bishop in Mondo. To mention the fact, Dave William was then senior warden, Jane Bowling, San William and secretary of the Episcopal Church Women, Nelly Pitong, member of the standing committee, and I, and the rector. 5 of us went to have a consultation with the bishop regarding that road. So we asked the bishop, if there is a problem about squatting and encroachment, why don't you build the road from the boys' door? You people, did you ever go to the boys' door? Did I see you? where Umamang's back is. You know that area in front of the Sagada weaving? Either that will be developed as a parking or tunnel, which can be a source of income for the Dagdag people and give little percentage to the church. And he was sold to that idea. Anyway, the next day, the church assembly was held. The purpose of pointing her in of that road was because it was to be funded by the church. And the church was setting a deadline. If you spend this 1.9 million, we will transfer it somewhere else. The other reason is charm develops. Sorry, I don't have the nature of my voice. The charm funds farm to market road. So we ask the question, is there a farm in that area? Because the farm to market road will be only from here to Lamana. That's the big idea. So anyway, there were oppositionists who wanted that, and there were parishioners who didn't like it. The next day, after the assembly, the LGU, that consultation publicly. I remember Mrs. Tirunan suggesting to our good mayor, why don't you open the road from Mansahanan 462 East? Since you have a road there bought by our good neighbor Julia, why don't you develop that instead and it instead of Pasig wherever? That was the suggestion by Mrs. Tirunan, and maybe that was not taken up. If you were so much interested in that diversion road because they were not willing to lose the charm funding of 1.9 million. That is the truth. And so, in the LGOU meeting, somebody said we will take a vote. But I am very glad for the mayor, he said, we will not take a vote because it is divisive. And so the suggestion was, you appeal, the LGU will appeal to the vestry again for a reconsideration. And we asked for a second assembly. But the vestry, Dave Julian was then the senior warden, decided not to call a second parish assembly. And they stood back with their decision of not granting the use of that land. So, in the Facebook, I hear, I looked in the Facebook and I do not understand how it runs, but I heard that there is a mistaken idea that the idea of the diversion road is a long topic. And I just recently, a few minutes ago, I asked the barangay captains who had been barangay official for so many years in Matan. I said, did you ever talk about this diversion road long time ago, years ago? And he said, no. What we had been talking about is the Dauangan up to St. Mary's Road as a barangay road, and this way up to Calvary as a Hatay barangay road. And he, the barangay captain, said, it is only recently that we said yes to that one, only to save the charm money of 1.9 million. So that is the history of this diversion road. It is a new topic talked about. The existing road had been established long time ago, but as far as I remember, I am not Sinai. We went there. We attended the delineation. I consultation, I am surprised. Because in our consultation with you, you were in favor of opening the Glenville Road or opening possible parking areas. Anyway, may I close? Maybe this is only my personal opinion, correct me if I am wrong. The seemingly problems of Sagada of garbage and traffic are not the problem. It is a matter of self-will to manage that traffic. Because I read in the Belingon Courier congratulating the Sagada people for managing the traffic, and there was no problem because women cannot, is that right? Todos frio. Traffic, get the trafficking, and there was no problem about congestion. There was no problem about that. Of course, the problem of garbage, which we can talk about later on, was well managed. And then, the proposal in the NGO about Sagada being a walk town, and somebody who is my relative said, Phoebe, the tourists, women going have to walk. I said, why do you always have the tourists in mind? I am old. I have to walk to many places in Sagada. I always it is like I wish we had there one time in Ilabay because we were walking, bringing our tambo. The tourists were hovering all around, and one lady from that viewer, Mrs. Kiruden, and she said, no, give way to the tourists, go ahead with the tourists. We should be the number one. We give the pathway to go to bring our tambo. Why are they always concerned about the benefit of tourists? Sagada is not only the place for a walk town. She stayed long in the United States. And she says there are walk places in the United States. We went to Pagod for a tour. We had a ride, but we could not go through vegan. It was a walk city. Vegan. And you recently went there to vegan. It's a walk city. You cannot bring your local in there. So why can't we not make Sagada during peak season and walk? No. So I said my piece. I am not, please do not brand me as a knife. We are pro-development. What kind of development do we want? Do we want cement development? Is that our kind of mentality that we want cement development? Cement in terms of buildings, like what's happening in the Rizal Park, where the Torre de Manila is now being questioned by the NCAA? Or are we going to be a cement mentality of building roads? Is that our mentality in Sagada? I hope not. We are for development. But what kind of development do we want? To the detriment of. Sometimes we say, you are used to saying, to the good old days of Sagada, the good old days of the mission of God. The same mentality is here. True. Anyway, that is my piece about the history of that growth, Madam Facilitator. And sorry, as a growth. So that is not an old issue that I will share. It's a new